tutorial will be drawing the hand. I'm going to give a little bit of a demonstration. My daughter Esme is going to stand in for the student again, and as I'm explaining and drawing, she will try to follow my instructions. I will also give a few tips and pointers on how to copy from life, since this is the first tutorial. This is the first tutorial I'm doing on drawing from life. So let's get started. Thank you, Esme. So it's really important that when I'm drawing from life, and it doesn't matter if it's a still life or a nude or my own hand, it's important that every time I look away from the motif in order to draw it, I see the same hand when I look back up. So what I do in the beginning is I find a point on the hand that is significant, I close one eye, and I find a point in the distance that I mark, so that every time I look away, I can find the same angle on the hand by lining up this point and the point that I drew. So what's important is that I close one eye, or I get too much information because I have two different angles. So I close one eye and I find a comfortable position, and I try to find the point right behind a significant point on the hand. So then I get started, and what I do is I start off with big, bold parts of the hand. So I go for the short hand as it's called, without the fingers. Try to get the angles right. Try to get the shape, the general shape. Go to the wrist. And kind of find the insertion points of the fingers. The insertion point of the thumb. And then I do the thumb in 2 lines. There will be many opportunities to correct. If something isn't quite right, I can always correct. I don't press down as hard as possible. I press down a little softer because I need those really dark lines for the final corrections. Yeah, those are good lines, isn't it?
Thank you.
One finger. And again, many opportunities to correct. So don't worry too much right now about getting it just right. You kind of go for the approximates. I also try to not just go around the outside of the fingers. I try to also pay attention to the inside. And now, as you can tell, I'm starting to, I have to hold down the paper. I'm starting to get a little bit more precise. Press down a little harder. But again, this is not a photograph. This is a drawing, and the personality of a drawing is more important than the photographic exact copying of reality. What we want is lines that have personality, that my lines, the way I like to do them, the way I feel them. Hey, I'm almost done. How about you?
Yeah, it's going.
Turned out cool. So a few more shadows. A few more front and back. Yeah, so this is in the front, this is more in the back. And here, getting the line for the vein right here, for the tendon. Okay. Hold it down for you. That's pretty cool, and I like the way they are different, even though we kind of got the same size, right?
Kind of.
Which, yeah, let's sign it. You sign your end, I sign my end. For the next drawing, we will be using pencils, which are totally different than charcoal and about everything that we do with them. Charcoal is a very versatile drawing utensil. You can do very fine lines, or you can work in very broad, almost like a brush swaths. With the pencil, we only have one line, and we're going to use this one line to the maximum effect. So we need another pose of the hand. Let's make it easy enough. Again, we find a point, mark it, one eye closed, mark the point, so you can always find the same angle on the hand. And now, very slowly and with thin lines, we do general shape. I like to call that a robot hand. I do almost all straight lines, which makes it easier for me to get the proportions right. So you do your robot hand. Yeah, those are just lines to kind of orient ourselves on and to already pay attention to the proportions, to the distances of the parts of the fingers, the thickness and the length. And then, since we have a pencil, we start putting in darkness and lines by doing hatching. So we hatch the shadow parts. Again, we don't use full the full strength on the lines. We save that up for the final most important lines in the end. So we hatch. And wherever it's really dark, we cross hatch. And you can be even more generous and kind of go outside of the lines you had before. You don't have to stay inside. It's when we do the cross hatching, it's more a it's gestic, so it's part of the movement. This is again not a photorealistic attempt, but it's more like studies from life. Yeah, very nice. Wherever it's really dark, you cross hatch. And in the final step, we look at it with more exactness and we start putting in the actual One thing, if you try holding the pencil further back and use it as an elongation of your index finger. Okay, so here we saw what a pencil can do. We saw hatching, cross-hatching for the shadow areas. Very nice exercise. Thank you, Esme.